So this is a game we call crosses and quarter circles or something like that. Never did really know the name for it. The game is played on a piece of paper. You first make a grid. I generally use 8 across by 6 high. In the bottom right corner is this black square, which is the winner's square. And in the top left, we start with a cross. Two players take turns. I'm going to play both players for this video, but two players generally take turns. And each player has a choice in their box of putting either a cross or they can do 2 quarter circles from the middle of this side to the middle of this side, and same over here. Or they can do it the other direction, quarter circles in the square. Again, players take turns. The idea is to add one of these to the longest line without a right angle on the playfield. Curves are okay, but the longest line without a right angle. Players take turns. The player who manages to touch the winner's circle, either edge, with the longest line, the play line, is the winner. If during play someone is forced to touch the outer edge with the play line, the longest line without a right angle, they lose. So again, the object is to be the player who touches the winner's square with the longest line without a right angle. Player number 1 can start from either this point here or this point here. It's up to them. So for instance, if I'm player 1, I can decide to do quarter circles here and here. Now, from this point on, it's been determined which is the longest line without a right angle. It will from now on start here and come across and down to here. That's the longest line on the playfield without a right angle. It will never change. It will always start here. You can always follow it through and see where it ends up without a right angle. Player number 2 now has 3 choices. Player number 2 can either make a cross, they can make quarter circles going this way, or they can make quarter circles going this way. As player number 2, I'm going to do quarter circles this direction. Now the play line is now here, the longest line without a right angle. You may ask, why are we putting these others here? Well, because later on somebody may curve around and attach to those, and they may become part of the play line. So now it's player number 1's turn again. And player number 1 has 3 choices, but they really only can do one of these. If player 1 decides to make a cross, then the play line will touch the outer edge and they'll lose. If player number 1 decides to do curve quarter circle up, they will touch this, which touches the outside edge. The play line will now be unbroken and will touch the outer edge, and they'll lose. So of these 3 choices, player number 1 really only has one choice, and that is to curve down. Now, you may be saying, but this line is touching, but it's not the play line. The play line, again, being the longest line without a right angle. So now it's player number 2's turn again. Player number 2 has 3 choices, but only 2 of them are really viable. If player number 2 decides to curve this way, then the play line will be touching the outer edge and they'll lose. So this player has only 2 choices, either a cross or to curve this way. This player decides to go this way. All right, again, player number 1's turn. Player number 1 has 3 choices. They can curve down, they can make a cross, going straight across, or they can curve up. Let's see what happens when they curve up. They touch that line. And now the play line ends here. The longest line without a right angle goes to here. So let's pick up the pace a little. The next player may make a cross. The next player may decide to make another cross. The next player may decide to curve up. Okay, the next player really only has two choices, because if they make a cross, the play line will touch the outer edge and they'll lose. So they can curve left or they can curve right. This player chooses to curve left. And again, this is okay touching the outer edge here because it's not the play line. The next player decides to make a cross. The play line is now here. This player only has one choice really, because if they make a cross and they go straight across, the play line will touch the outer edge. If they curve up, the play line touches the outer edge. So they're going to curve down like this. And this play continues on until one player eventually touches this line here or this line here. And that's the player who wins. If we get to a point where a player is forced to touch the outer edge with the play line, or to touch a piece which is touching the outer edge with the play line, they automatically lose. And that's the entire game. It usually takes about 5 minutes to play. It sounds very complicated, but it's actually pretty easy. So, thought that might be a fun game. Hope you enjoy it.